Welcome to Mixed Media Magnets. I began this project by cutting some cardboard boxes that were from Starbucks, from their iced coffees, and I traced onto them the cloud stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. I just used a pencil, traced around the images, and then trimmed them with scissors to create the base for my magnets. Then I trimmed them out, and then I grabbed some gesso and I painted the printed side, a couple layers of gesso, and let that dry, and you're ready to go. Next, I began with some stencils. This one is the pomegranate stencil from the Crafter's Workshop, and I used some Radiant Rain key lime ink. I actually will later change this one. I wasn't exactly happy with how it was turning out, so I ended up changing it. Here I'm adding some scrappy paper, and then I'm taking some Liquitex acrylic ink. It's in a little bottle with a dropper, and I dropped it in with some water and painted. The nice thing about Radiant Rain and these acrylic inks is they're permanent, so they won't mix or blend when you use them. On this cloud, I decided to use the fish scale stencil and Radiant Rain ink and some acrylic paint on this other one. This is the golden green gold. And then I'm going to use a stencil on this one. It's the Circle Explosion from Crafter's Workshop with some cobalt teal golden paint. Fill in the circles on that and then let that dry. Coming back to the this cloud, I'm coloring them in with some of the Derwent pencils. These are some vibrant watercolor pencils, and then I'm using a water brush to kind of brush those pencils in place. I'm actually going to change this one as well. I think on a bigger substrate, I might have liked that. On this one, I'm stamping the Fly rubber stamp from Samantha Cara Harding. Coming back to that other cloud again, and I'm going to cover it with some inky paper. I just decided it just wasn't, I wasn't liking it too much. So I just took some scrap paper and a glue stick and adhered that onto it and trimmed it out. And then I decided to stamp it with Bliss, another rubber stamp from Samantha Cara Harding. And then I decided to take my Pilot pen and do a little doodling around the letters. First I started with the white out pen from Bic to enhance the little circles on that one. And then I just doodled around the words with the Pilot pen to just make them look a little messier. And then I also sketched or doodled around the edges of this cloud stencil. And then came back to the Fly cloud and, well, we'll come back to that one. Okay, now I'm using some packing tape, taping it on both sides and then just trimming it out with scissors. My fingers are pretty inky. I guess I could have washed them first. You might want to, just so that your tape doesn't pick off the ink from your fingers. So I just used some heavy packing tape to do that, and front and back on both sides of the cloud, and then just trimmed them out with some scissors. Okay, now we're back to the Fly cloud, doodling around the edges. And then I decided to enhance the circles a little bit, and then I drew these little lines just all around the edges. I don't know, just like the way that looked. And then back to the packing tape. Again, both sides. I found it easier just to put the tape all around front and back and then do the trimming at one time. It did make it a little bit easier. And you can finish the backs of your magnets if you want. Maybe just swipe them with some paint. All right, now we're coming back to one that I didn't really like. So I'm using some SCI and some Adirondack inks with Punchinella to create the background. And then I'm just going to smudge a little bit of gesso on that. And this is golden paint here. I think that's nickel azo gold. And then once that's dry, I just doodle in a little bit on the punchinella with my Pilot pen. And just dry it just a little bit because that acrylic takes a little bit of time to dry. Doodle around the edges. And then I decided to use another one of Samantha Kara Harding stamps. This one is Wish. Oh, that's my scrap basket. I'm just looking for some little scraps, something to attach to it. Trying to figure out what I want to do. Ultimately, I decide on the little colored circle. Okay, now we're stamping the Wish stamp. And then I just doodled a little bit more around my little circle. And that circle was actually cut from a journal page that I made. I just made a photocopy of it. And then I'm going to use the whiteout pen here to just kind of bring out that word a little bit. It just seemed a little lost, stamped in the black on there, just because the cloud's a little dark. So once it's dried, I decided to put some packing tape on the circle as well. And then I trimmed it out. And then using my tiny attacher from Ranger, I adhered or attached the cloud to the circle. And here I'm just adding the packing tape to the cloud before I do that. Once again, just do both sides and then trim it at once. It's a little bit easier. And smaller scissors seem to be a little easier than those big ones I started out with. Oh, I added the magnet first. These are magnets. These are just peel and stick. They're actually for business cards. I get them at Office Depot. Okay, here we go. Here we're attaching the circle now with the tiny attacher. And then putting the magnet on the back. Yay! All done. Thanks for watching.